Cool.
Right on, Metal Summoners. What's up? How are you guys all doing this evening, this afternoon, this day if you are in Europe, this late evening if you are further in Europe? Metal Summoners, we love you guys. Angel and I get to do this show every single week because of you guys, your continued support, your love of the guests, your support of their music, and your fantastic questions that you get to ask them. We really appreciate you guys as always. Coming live to you from Jersey is Angel Alamo. Coming live from you today from Salem, Massachusetts is myself. And coming live from Texas is our guest this evening. We are super duper stoked to have him on the show. We're going to talk about music. We're going to talk about gear. We might even talk a little bit about throwing around that pigskin, but it's going to be a whole lot of fun, as it always is. Larry Pascale, thank you so much, my friend, and we appreciate having you on the show, and welcome to the Metal Summit.
All right, man. Well, thanks for having me. And it's always a pleasure to talk music and business and have a platform to do it. And so I appreciate you guys having that. And, it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm really looking forward to it, and appreciate you having me.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We really appreciate it, man. Definitely. And first and foremost, man, I mean, congratulations.
Wait, did I catch, though?
What's up, man?
Sorry, there's a little bit of delay. I just thought I heard it. I think I caught that Angel's in New Jersey. So that's where I'm originally from.
Yeah, he sure is. Angel, jump on that, brother. Where are you from again?
I'm
from Somerset County originally.
Oh, I know exactly where that is.
Nice.
The hub.
Yeah, I couldn't catch you. Okay.
Yeah, we're say Angel. Sorry, buddy. We're dealing with a slight delay there. But where are you at, Angel?
Central Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. That's where I grew up too. So all.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, for sure. Well, first and foremost, Larry, again, thank you so much. We appreciate your time. It's going to be a lot of fun, but congratulations are in order, for the continued support of Living the Dream.
Absolutely, man. Thanks. It's putting this at and just getting this new, it's a big deal. My music, and for a lot of fans who I have, and if you guys have listened to the record, I'm not sure if you have yet, and some of the other music I have out on my Black and Blue album, but the new album really, for me, I'm like classic rock, hard rock, power pop, a touch of metal, and my songs are relatable. They're catchy, super melodic, tremendous vocals. It's one thing I pride myself in, really, really big time. Then, the guitar playing is the cherry on top. So for me, when you listen to songs like Living a Dream or Just 3 Days, or I Wish I Knew Her Name on this record, 1700 Miles to Austin, you get a very good sense of the variety of what I'm doing. And to me, that's versatility is the key to everything. And you have to be able to write memorable music. If you don't have the song, you really don't have anything. Yeah. It really doesn't matter how good of a singer you are. It doesn't really matter how good of a guitar player you are if you can't write. And writing memorable rock music, to me, is the number one thing that I do. And that's why I think it translates so well. They're translatable songs. They're melodic. They're harmonious. They have great hooks. And then the guitar solos that I write are really, like I said earlier, the cherry on top. So to put this album out, it's very exciting, and it's getting amazing reviews, and I couldn't be more happy about what's happening here. So there's a little bit of a diatribe that I've got started on there.
No, absolutely, man. 100% for sure. When it comes to the writing of a song, which clearly you take a lot of tremendous personal pride in, how do you like putting your songs together? Do you base it around lyrics, a lick, a melody, a riff? what's kind of your style without giving too much insight behind the LP personal writing curtain?
Yeah, well, no, it's a great question, and it's here's what usually happens in the songwriting process for me. Either an acoustic guitar or an electric guitar, I just kind of pick it up. I might walk into the room, just pick it up, and instantly I've got the hook. But there was no conscious effort. I never sit down and go, I'm going to write a song today, or I'm going to write a ballad today. I'm going to write this really heavy song today. That never happens. What usually happens is I come up with a melody or I come up with a cool riff, and then I start building it from there. And that's kind of how it happens. And then lyrically, just kind of a bunch of mumbo jumbo comes out. Like there might be a line or two that works. Like, okay, and then I build around that. And I'm like, all right, now this song is going in this direction. You know, so that's kind of how it happens. I mean, just 3 days, for instance, I wrote that song. I never even had a guitar in my hands. And then once I had the whole melody in my mind, then I decided what key I was going to write it in, and then built it around that. So there's really no conscious effort from my vantage point to sit down and say, I'm going to write, or I'm going to write this way. The stuff just comes out. And so that's kind of the process. And then it goes from there, you know, and then the most fun of it for me is, you know, creating the vocal harmonies and the 3 and 4 part harmonies that go with the song in either in the pre-chorus or the chorus or the melody line. So I'm really all about that. And there's a really rewarding there's a perspective to this all when you start to hear it all come together, you know. And so that's kind of the writing process. And then I decide, you know, at that point, you know, maybe this song is better suited to be an acoustic track or that type of thing, you know.
Yeah.
You know, to take you into the recording process. I mean, you know, it's you know, recording is also another big deal, you know, because I think a lot of people don't really understand it. They think they do, but they don't. And for people who don't really know how it works, you know, guitar tones and vocal tones are an enormous deal. And there's a lot of time and effort that goes into those things. So when you hear that final product, like Living a Dream, you know, like the guitar tone on that is wicked. You know, I mean, it didn't just, I mean, it took some time to dial that in. And so I really am proud of the whole thing, start to finish. I mean, you know, from all the writing, all the singing, all the guitar playing, you know, all the arrangements, the producing, there's a lot to it. And it's a lot of fun. And I think I've created an amazing rock and roll album.
Nice.
And it crosses very many genres. And that's what makes it so widely appealing. You know, you listen to Live in a Dream, Just 3 Days, My Oh My, Secret is Safe with Me, or I'm Not Dead Yet. And you've got an incredible array of good, hard rock and roll music and melodic stuff. You know, to me, I'm kind of like the, you know, classic rock. You know, I'm like Loverboy, Journey, Styx, the Eagles, and Stryper, and you know, trying to think who else, all kind of bunched up into one. Maybe, you know, I mean, you hear a lot of influences there, but it's mine all, you know. And I pride myself in being a great songwriter, and that's really the number one thing, you know.
Yeah. No, absolutely, 100%. And of course, when you're putting out a record, one of the things that's going to be very, very important to it is the flow of that album. You know, you're not going to want to be all over the place where you might not be able to keep people's attention span. I mean, it's hard enough, especially nowadays, to keep people's attention spans anyway. So you probably kind of answered part of this question already, but I'm kind of, you might need to do a slight repeat because I think it kind of works for the question, and then we'll kick it up to Angel and I'll let him take it away with the fans. But for your style of writing, do you write for a record, or do you write and file away? You know, write and file away, and then when you're ready for a record, do you look for what those filed tracks would give you the best flow for a record?
Yeah, and I do, and it's interesting you bring this up because I don't write for an album. Okay, I mean, I you know, I've got a lot of other songs that would not fit this stuff that are in licensing deals and going to TV and things like that. But I kind of write and file away, and then we start picking and choosing for the next record. You know,
Mm-hmm.
This album is interesting because being that after I signed the label deal, I had most of the record written already and some stuff already recorded. So it does genres in a way. Now, the next album, which I really don't even want to talk about right now because there's so much about this
Of course.
in the tour and everything that's going to happen. But the next one following will be more of that same ebb and flow, you know, where it's like, all right, I see where this is like one big album, one big song, I should say, right? Yeah. So, but I write more to file. I really do, because it's such a wide range of material. You know, like a track like Pieces. I don't know if you've heard Pieces. Yeah, you got to hear Pieces. It's
like
it's an
not Dead
incredible
Yet
song.
and 17 to Austin are the ones that definitely, you know, spoke to me in particular.
Right. Yeah. 1,700 miles to Austin. Incredible. I mean, the hook is infectious. You can't. I had a couple people tell me today. This afternoon, I've been on the phone like all day today. Crazy business day. And I've had some radio people contact me today, and they're like, "This song, 1,700 Miles to Austin, this song could be #1 song in the country, adult contemporary."
Yes.
You know, I mean, so, and I take great pride in stuff like that. Like that song there, in the chorus, you know, you've got a 5-part harmony going on. You know,
Right.
I mean, there's 5 parts in the chorus. Now I sang them all, and they're all really sang. You know, there's no harmonious mixing tricks, no harmonizers, no silliness like that. So going back to your earlier questions about how prideful I am in what I'm doing, and I just spoke with a big time producer, and I don't know if you would want me to mention his name, so I won't. He's produced everybody down in Nashville. I mean, huge, the biggest artists there are. And he called me to discuss my material about what's going on with, in particular, 1,700 Miles, Just 3 Days, and some other songs. And we discussed that because he's like, look, I really want to produce your next album. And we had a 45-minute Zoom call about, well, here's the first thing. If we were to even work together, there can be no auto-tune, there can be no pitch correction, and there can be no harmony tricks. So when you listen to my album, it is as true to form as you can possibly get. And that is such a prideful thing for me, because I don't have to tell you, 99% of what you've heard the last 20 years it's all pitch corrected.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a fact. And my records are not that way. I'll never do them that way. And so it's very interesting because the industry has made it to where it has to be absolutely dead pitch perfect. The artists all want to just do that. They've made it that way. And they're telling producers, look, this has got to sound like this guy's song on the radio. This has got to sound like this girl's song on the radio. So it's a very interesting dynamic that you have to placate with, because and I'm so old school that I just can't go there. I mean, it's just not, I just can't do it. So so making records is very prideful for me. Great songwriting, number one. Number two, amazing vocals. And number three is the guitar playing. Nice. And that's to me what it's all about. The song is going to change your life. It's going to make you feel good. It's going to make you cry. It's going to make you laugh. And you're going to want to spin it again. And then when you have the voice, those great vocals, the second reason you don't want to turn it off. And the third reason, then you hear the guitar solos and you're like, wow. So that's what I'm all about. I mean, just in a nutshell, great, memorable music, and that's what, to me, keeps you going. That's what makes you tick. Music is the universal language. When you connect with people who are 10 years old, and you connect with people who are 20 years old and 40 years old and 75 years old, you're accomplishing something.
Yeah.
And that's what my music does. And that's just a huge deal. And it's all about making people happy. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, you don't put music on really to, you put music on to move. Mm-hmm. You're going to vacuum the house. You're going to come on. You're going to work out. Before you hit the football field, you should be playing "Living a Dream." I mean, so that's what music is. It's supposed to be an uplifting thing, and if I can make you happy doing that, and in return, be able to pay some of the bills, then I think we're winning here.
For sure. Absolutely. Because you're also, especially with the way that the live music business is right now, where you've got this constant debate right now on, backing tracks, what's live versus what's not live, where you're also going to get either somebody who's going to hear your song, on the radio or through the record label, and then go see you live and realize that they're hearing still what drew them to want to come to the show, or even vice versa. Somebody who maybe went out with their mates to a show that were just tagging along and were like, hey, I really like this cat, and look up the music and still realize that they're getting the same music that they just heard live when they just tagged along with their mates. But again, you also have that issue right now with the constant debate where you've got artists that are like, it's okay to use this stuff, and you got other artists that are like, it is not okay to use this stuff.
Right. Now, you just made some great points, and I fall into it's not okay to use this stuff. And interestingly enough, about 2 hours ago, maybe 3, my manager and I were discussing this. And we were talking about the fact that when people watch my stuff and they hear the voice and they see the power in it and they see what's going on, one of the first things they say is, well, yeah, but can he do this live? Well, the answer is yes. And I've proven that over and over. I went on tour last year with one of my favorite vocalists ever growing up. And I'm sure you know who Tony Harnell is from TNT.
Oh, absolutely. He's an alumnus of the show.
Yeah. So Tony and I did a run last when was it? It was October, like October 5th through the 15th or something last year. It was a year ago. And it was amazing because people were like, and this is, you know, they're like, holy crap, man. Back to back. And it was so, you know, obviously that's very complimentary, but it's real. You know, I mean, there's no faking any of this, you know, and you just made a great point up, because when I go play live in a few minutes and people are like, holy crap, this is the real thing, you know, and that's a major thing, what you said. The backing tracks are not allowed, not cool, not good. You know, you might as well just stay home and watch videos. I mean, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
You know,
100%.
and you know, if you've made enough money in this business to where, and enough success to where now you're starting to become almost a parody of yourself, I don't think that's good. And you know, I mean, I don't want to mention even any names because it's, you know, because but it's just not cool.
Sure.
It's just not cool.
Yeah, no, we definitely
You know?
we definitely understand that for sure. And because Angel and I are big like live music people, so like we definitely understand 100% where you're coming from. But Angel, let me kick it over to you, my guy. Let's let you take it away for a little bit, man. Cowboy up, and let's hear from the Metal Summoners as well.
This has nothing to do with the fact that you're from Austin. I just wore the hat. Man, the universe must be speaking, because I was listening to like previews on the music website that has your songs in. And when it got to 1,700 miles to Austin, at the end of 30 seconds, I'm like, fuck. You know, it's like the song that made me want to buy the record. So that's why I was like, fuck,
there you go, right?
30-second preview ended and I was getting into the song. So I'm like, after the show, I'll have to buy the record after the show. But I don't know. It's like a really, how can I say it? We could talk about that song for a moment, because it's the song that I listened to that made me want to buy the record. So there's this one song that made me want to buy your record. That's the song that sold me in, basically.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit on me there, but I think I got the gist of what you were saying. Did you want me to talk about that track for a second?
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually wrote that song, and being that you're in Jersey, you're going to appreciate this. If you look up how much is from Newark Airport to Austin, it's 1,700.
Oh.
Okay. So
I was wondering.
Yeah. So I actually wrote that song. It was at my mother's house, who's living in North Jersey, and she was had cancer, and she had things were going bad. But I actually wrote that song. Didn't even have a guitar in my hands. I wrote the whole thing in my head in her living room, and my girlfriend was down here, and her or my fiance now, Teresa, and who helps me out with everything. I should definitely say a plug there, because I couldn't do it without her. But 1,700 miles to Austin, and I looked it up. I said, how many miles is it to Austin right now from Newark Airport? And it was 1,700. I wrote the song right there. And then when I came home, when I came home back to Chicago, because I was still living in Chicago at the time, went to Chicago, that's when I picked up a guitar and decided what key to write it in. because I was going back and forth on what key to write it in, and even what kind of feel. That song was tricky. I mean, I'd written it, you know, in my head. Then like I said, then I picked up a guitar, decided what key I was going to play it in, figured that out. I was doing it in the key of E and the key of A, actually. And I decided to go with E in 440 way. So it's in pitch. So it's a true E. And, but the key to the whole thing was the groove. So how that came about, this is one of the songs that I was struggling with when I was recording it. And I'm like, man, I can figure out how this song should feel and go. I mean, I'm close, but I'm not quite. So actually, Teresa and she's like, you know what? It almost has to be like a two-step. You know, I mean, as crazy as that sounds, like a Texas two-step, you know? And she sent me a video of people dancing in a club somewhere in Texas down here. I was in Chicago. And when I came up with the feel of the song, I placed it to the video of just this general video of people dancing. I don't even know what song they were playing. It had the music muted. And sure as hell, the dancing lined up with what I was doing. And I'm like, holy shit, this is a fucking two-step. So that's how the actual groove came about. So that's kind of the back end of the story. And then, of course, you listen to all the vocals and all the harmonies. The chorus of that song is a 5-part harmony. And, you know, it took me a little bit to work the parts out, sang them all. And it has a huge vocal sound. So the hook is just off the charts. I mean, there's no reason that song can't be, that song could be number one on multiple charts. There's no reason why it can't be. Really, it is that good.
I mean, for a 30-second preview, I really got into the song for 30-second
awesome.
preview.
That's awesome.
Which kind of takes me back to those days when we used to have to do that.
Yeah. It's and you know, and I think that gives you a good idea. You listen to a song like "Living a Dream," you watch that video, you listen to the song, you listen to the wicked guitar solo, the great hook, but then you go from that to 1,700 Miles to Austin, you know, and that's the kind of stuff I'm writing. I'm satisfying a large group of people. You know, I mean, I'm certainly not thrash metal by any stretch of the imagination. You know, you're never going to hear anything like Motorhead on my records, you know, or not that I don't love that, but because I listen to everything. But, you know, to me, I look at myself as kind of like a hard rock Eagles, Beatles, and thrown in with some of those 80s, 70s influences, you know, that's, you know, even like Just 3 Days, when you get a chance, listen to Just 3 Days, listen to how the song is. It's very Cranberries-ish. I don't know if you remember the Cranberries from the early 70s, but you know, Eric Carmen's band. It's got that kind of feel. It's kind of like a Bon Jovi-ish type of tune, something they would probably do. But you know, so I'm covering the array here, but these are the songs that come out. These are what come out. Like I was telling you before, I don't sit down with a preconceived notion of anything that I'm going to write. I've never worked that way. And what comes out, if it's good, if I can tell it's good, then I'll take it somewhere. If it's not too cool, then it just goes away. But I never sit down with that preconceived notion. Never, ever have done that. Even with a song like "I'm Not Dead Yet," which you mentioned earlier, you know, that is like the Eagles on steroids. That tune, you know, it's like a heavy fast lane, you know, and the lyrics they're very wickedly cool. They're touching on some guy who's a thief and stealing stuff from people, and he's being chased, but I'm not dead yet. You didn't catch me yet. So, you go from 1700 and just beautiful songs to I'm not dead yet and living a dream, so it's there is something for everyone on my records. Let's put it that way.
Cool. I'm going to go to some fan questions, and just be respectful of your time. We're past the 30-minute mark, so I know we have you for another 10 minutes.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds great.
Right. Just being respectful of your time and appreciating you being with us.
Believe me, I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Cool.
Are you coming to Iowa? That's a fan question.
I sure hope so. Yes. I mean, we want to badly. I think the tour, I've got a meeting tomorrow. I think what's going to actually happen is I think we're going to start up in Chicago and we're going to work our way through the Midwest. So I'm sure we're going to be in Iowa. Yes. I know it will happen. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep. Definitely.
I know we have fans in Montana. Any chance of going through Montana? Just asking for it.
No, that's great. These are great topics to go into from these questions, because do we want to go to Montana? 100% yes. Can we go to Montana? Yeah, we can get there. But the issue is, and this is a great thing because for people who are touring aspect of things, sometimes you can't get to where you want to go, not just because maybe you can't get the venue, but you can't get something around it that makes sense. So unless you're Kiss or Bon Jovi or Taylor Swift or something like that, it's hard to get to some of these areas. With that being said, though, I know that we are going to make every effort possible to get out there, because we're looking at dates right now in California, Arizona, Nevada, and then Chicago, Cincinnati, Indiana, Minnesota, Wisconsin, New York, and there's so it's just it's a puzzle game. Yeah. It's a puzzle game. It's itinerary game, and it's a money game.
Of course.
It is so expensive to get on the road. It's made life difficult for a lot of people wanting to tour, but that's a long roundabout way to get to. Are we coming to Montana? I know, but do we want to? Yes. Absolutely. So we're going to carry that we can.
Sweet. Angel, stay with it, buddy, because we definitely want to clear the board to stay with Larry's schedule. But real quick, Larry, just for what it's worth, as a spinoff of that question, that fan question and Angel's question, I'm sure you're familiar with Ron Keel. He's also been a guest on this show. But if you weren't familiar, he does live in South Dakota and is very actively playing and stuff like that. He does like Keel Fest. He plays like the motorcycle festivals and stuff like that. So just for what it's worth, I wanted to throw that out to you. For you, your booking agent, your manager, your label, whatever the necessary channels would be, that somebody like Ron, who lives in that, that northern Midwest area of the exact states we were just talking about, he is very active in that area. So maybe just something to look into potentially as a consideration.
No, I think that's a great point. And of course I know who Ron is. Yeah. And that he is in, I think, North Dakota, right? Or South?
I think it's South from when we had him on the
show,
but it,
yeah, I believe it's South, because we talked about.
I think it is. Yeah. No, and it's funny you brought that up, because we discussed that a couple days ago, my manager and I, about reaching out to Ron about doing some shows. So that I'm glad you brought that up, though, because I forgot there's so much going on every single day. I can't even keep track of it.
Larry, we're going to have to make this a 2-part episode, man.
Yeah.
So much fun to talk about. So much fun things to talk about. I keep rocking with it, Angel.
That's awesome.
Again, saying hello to Marianne, and she's the person at your record label, the one that really got us the interview with you. So just want to say thank you, Marianne. We appreciate it.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Hold on 1 second, because I got distracted.
No worries.
If you could bring back a member of the 27 Club, who would it be and why?
27. I'm not familiar with that.
Oh, it's typically to get the artist that we've lost at 27 years of age, whether it was Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, Kurt Cobain.
Sorry. Oh, well, that's no brainer. It's Hendrix. When you go on tour, do you get the chance to meet your fans? Yeah, absolutely. After every show, we do. I go behind a merch table and I sign and take pictures and do everything with anybody who comes up. Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's another song that seems to be a favorite.
Pieces. Yeah, I told you. Pieces is incredible. Yeah, you gotta listen to that tune. For sure.
And so,
yeah,
man. Well, do you write from life experiences?
Yeah.
Do you write songs from life experiences?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Sometimes they're, fictional. But something's usually spurs something on, whether it's someone else or it's me, for sure. Yeah. I mean, Just 3 Days is a personal song. Living a Dream is autobiographical. I mean, that song is really about myself, and, if you listen to the lyrics, it's kind of self-explanatory. Secret is Safe with Me is Christian. Secret is Safe with Me is completely, it's about, looking, finding the Lord. I touch on all subjects, it's, yeah, sure. Absolutely.
And for the sake of time, I'm going to ask one more question. Do you ever a song with the title first? Like, does the title ever come to you and you just roll with that and just write the whole song?
The only one I can think of is actually maybe 1,700 miles. Because soon as I had the top, that's how I started it. I'm like 1,700 miles to Austin. I'm going to write a song called 1,700 Miles. Oh, I did that with another track too, actually, called Thank God That You're Mine. Same thing. I had the title and I wrote the song around the title. So yeah, it does happen. It does happen. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm always curious about that as a fan, because I'm like, man, that's such a cool title. Like, the person must have started it from the title first, and that's what I thought about when I was hearing this song.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes that does happen. For sure. Yeah. It's songwriting songwriting is the biggest piece. You've got to have great songs, or you have nothing. Absolutely. If you can't write great songs, then you got to either find someone who can for you, or you're just lucky. Yeah. I can't say it any other way. I don't say that from an arrogant position. I just say it as fact. You have to write great songs, or nobody's going to listen. It's just that simple. And so when people ask me, well, what do you think about getting into the business, or what do you think about this? There's a million things I could tell you, the highs, the lows, the frustrations, the amount of work. But if you can't write, you better get with somebody who can, or move on. You know, really. I mean, it's just it's tough business. It's very tough, and writing great tunes is got to be your number one goal. That's my biggest piece of advice to anybody. You know, if you've got to be able to write a good hook, and then go from there. You know.
Absolutely.
All right, I'm gonna kick right back up today. But just a reminder. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead. I was gonna say, just I know we got a few minutes left, and I know you guys probably had some questions about gear and some other things too, which is a lot of fun to talk about.
Yeah, but like I said, I mean,
hours.
I know you said like 40 minutes, but we just be respectful. If you want to stay on for a few more minutes, you can. It's your show, but we're just being respectful of your time.
I appreciate it. Believe me. So a couple things let me plug first. LarryPascalemusic.com.
Yep.
Go there. Check.
Yep, it's right below.
Scrolling right there. Go there. The pre-sale for the physical CD is up for the new album. It's available digitally.
Don't forget the bundle.
Also,
don't forget the bundle.
What's that? Yeah. Yep, the bundle, all the merch. Yep.
Angel and I are big merch nerds. We're such big merch.
Yes, we are.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to get you some T-shirts. Which actually,
and the CD at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, just I got you got my contact info. Check out all the merch. Go to the website. Everything's on there. Hit me on Larry Pascale Music Facebook page. At Larry Pascale 1 on Twitter. Hit me on Instagram. It's Larry_Pascale. You'll find me right away. Go to YouTube. Put my name in, Larry Pascale Music. You'll see all these incredible videos on there. There are 7 videos on there that are killing. And if you're out there listening and you haven't watched my stuff yet or heard it yet, it's a great place to go and see what I've got going on. And I think you'll really enjoy what's happening here. People say I'm a throw something a little bit different, I just saw a question there. What's the hardest song you've written? Is that what that said?
Yeah. Teresa Lynn. She's a friend of the show, a great promoter, and booking agent, and also just invited Angel and I to host an upcoming show. So Teresa, thank you for your love.
Oh, cool. What's the hardest song? The hardest song. It's an interesting question. What was the hardest song for you to write? Boy, let me think about that. I got so many cool tunes. Hardest song to write. Boy, that is a great question.
That's all right. You got time to think about it.
Well, you know what I'll say. I'll tell you this. The I don't know if it was the hardest song to write, but the hardest song to translate the way I wanted it to was Pieces. It's way more, in my writing, like you listen to a song like Pieces, okay? You got to be well versed in chords and chord structure. That song is, it's B minor to D major 7th to F sharp suspended 9. That's the first 4 chords in the song. And do yourself a favor, guys. Watch that video when we're done. And that song, I guess, to get it sonically as close as I could was the hardest song to do. There's a part in that song that when I did the vocal take, a lot of my vocal takes are usually done in like 1 or 2 takes, maybe 3. There was a spot in Pieces though that, and it was right after the guitar solo that goes into the bridge, out of the bridge. There's a spot in there. You know, it probably took me 6 or 7 takes to get 8, and I was singing my ass off. And it's super high too. That song was actually recorded in 440, so it was in pitch. It wasn't 2.5 step down. So maybe not the hardest song to write, but absolutely the hardest song to vocally do, because it's intense. So yeah, that would have to be my answer. Not the hardest to write, but certainly hardest to translate and hardest to record.
Nice.
Was pieces.
Yeah. Very, very cool for sure. Oh, we got some more love. Thank you, Mark.
For the stage, with any one artist, dead or alive, who would you choose? Well, oh man, that's toughy because I'm such a huge Kiss fan from the time I was a little kid and still am. You know, I don't know. It would either have to be Paul Stanley or, and I would just probably flip the switch completely. And I'll just say probably there'd be 2 other people I would throw in that ring. It'd be Paul McCartney or Don Henley from the Eagles.
Nice.
That would be the 3 names that come to mind right off the bat.
Even from the Kiss camp, though, I could see you and Bruce doing some cool, like, intertwining stuff.
That's so funny you say that, man, because I've heard that many times. Bruce, I know Bruce, but he does. If he saw me, he would remember. We've talked multiple times, but we're not really friends. But somebody just brought that up to me the other day. Again, he goes, "Boy, I'd love to see you do something with Bruce Kulick." So you're dialed in, man. You are dialed in. You are totally dialed in.
I appreciate it, Larry. I mean, I can just I call it as I see it. Angel and I we talk about what we hear, and it just, hey man, it's coming together. The moon is right tonight.
Yeah, like I'm surprised that you mentioned 1,700 miles to Austin before I did, Jay. That kind of surprised me. I was like, say what? Jay likes that song? Wow.
Yeah, I would think you'd be more living a dream. You know, just 3 days. Yeah. I'm not dead yet. Yeah.
Well, yeah, not dead yet.
Pushing too.
Not dead yet was way up my alley for sure. I just, well, I think one of the reasons why also 1,700 miles to Austin kind of hit me is I'm a big Mike Tramp fan.
Yeah,
I love everything that Mike does, and especially with the stuff that he's doing solo, is really got that like personal experience, clean writing. And again, like he and I did an interview many years ago, and he also spoke on the importance of being a good songwriter, not being able to fake it. You can either write good songs or you can't. That's another one of the reasons why I was like, you know, there are certain songs that might be slightly out of like what people would expect me to dial in with quicker, but that I can connect with because of just other people I'm really into in that same kind of aura, with Mike being one of those.
Nice. I actually played with Mike 2016 or 17. We played Potawatomi Casino in Milwaukee, and he did this. Let's see, I can't remember. I think I did like a 45-minute set acoustic, and then he came out and did an hour and 15 minutes acoustic, something like that. It was an awesome night.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a really cool show. Cool show.
Oh hell yeah, we love that. But yeah, we did touch a little bit on it. So a couple like fun questions for you to just kind of round out everything, to just kind of give everybody a smile. So I mean, yeah, we definitely love talking about gear. So why don't you give everybody a rig rundown, like what you play, your guitars and stuff like that?
Sure thing, yeah. So number one, I'm a Gibbs Hall guy, you know, for the most part. I've got, as a matter of fact, I don't have them all out right now, but I do have with me right next to me right now is this killer gold top. So I've got three specific Les Paul I use. The gold top, which is kind of like the road guitar now, because the other two pieces, they're amazing guitars. They're borderline collector pieces. So I only really use them for videos, or videos like that pink sparkle Les Paul I have. That's in the photo that I'm using. That's one, and I have another one. It's abalone blue sparkle that's in the Pieces video. So guitar wise, it's pretty much Les Paul's. Now when recording, it's all different for guitars. I use a 339, 335 semi-hollow, and I also have a custom pink Strat. So for instance, you'd be surprised, on I'm Not Dead Yet, that all the guitars on I'm Not Dead Yet, now you go back and listen and pay attention more, guitars on that is a semi-hollow, believe it or not. I'm Not Dead Yet. So when you listen to that song, you're going to go, whoa, really? And as far as amplifiers go, I've got some old Randall MTS stuff that Bruce Egnater did that are incredible. And I've got some old Marshalls too. So effects, not too many effects, kind of standard, delay, chorus, reverb type thing. I got a nice Taylor guitar for acoustic, an old Gibson as well. So I'm really a Gibson guy for the most part. Vocal mics, I'm a Telefunken guy. So I've got a Telefunken TF51. I've got an M80. And so, getting guitar tones is a huge deal, and I love tinkering around with stuff. I think like everybody else, it's kind of you're kind of searching for a tone. Sometimes you can't find. It's not that easy. But yeah, I mean, I've got some great amplifiers and some great guitars, but yeah, guitar wise, I'm pretty much a Les Paul guy, especially live. I do have a killer V though that Washburn made me. That's in the Black and Blue video, actually. It's a white flying V. So I like playing Vs too, but yeah, I mean, it's, they all have their purpose. They're all different. They all sound different. They all have a purpose, in 1700 Miles to Austin, the guitars in that song are the semi-hollow and the pink Strat, an acoustic guitar. So there's no Les Paul in that song. But then on the flip side, Living a Dream is a Les Paul custom on every guitar track on that particular song. And just to touch on that for a second, in the recording process, layer guitars, why your guitar sound is so fat. If you listen to my stuff, you'll hear how fat the guitar tone is, but it's usually because there's 3 guitar tracks, but they're all playing different inversions of those chords. It's not like I'm playing one chord pattern and then tripling it. Of course, I'm giving trade secrets away here, but that's okay. So when you're getting that killer fat guitar sound, you don't need 9 guitar tracks to get a killer fat guitar sound. So it's a lot of fun to talk about that stuff, the producing everything. But yeah, so so the new album's out. It's killing. If you haven't spun it yet, go get it. It's awesome. And we're booking dates now for April, May, June of 24, and it's gonna be fantastic. So it's a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys having me.
Absolutely. No,
No, we
100%. Yeah, it says Bernadette wants us to say hi to you from her. So say hi to Bernadette, Larry.
Hey, Bernadette, how are you? I know she's a fan of mine. Nice.
And one more fun thing for you, because we talk about it off the air. It is the NFL. It is football season. You're from Jersey, lived in Chicago, currently in Texas, but you're a Miami Dolphins fan?
I am, yeah.
How is that a
man.
thing?
That's a thing because I'll tell you how that's a thing. Because even though we grew up in Jersey, my dad, he grew up, he was actually a Packers fan, okay, the late 60s.
Oh.
And then that's because Lombardi is actually from Jersey. A lot of people don't know this. So then Don Shula came into the Dolphins in 1970, and by 72 they were, undefeated in the whole thing. My dad was a Dolphins fan, became a Don Shula fan, became a Dolphins fan. So that was it. So from the time I was a little kid, that was the team, and that's been my team diehard ever since. So yeah, I bleed aqua and orange. I mean, you could see the tears all over the house.
No, absolutely, for sure. Well, Larry, first and foremost, man, Angel and I can't thank you enough, man. We really appreciate you taking some time out of the late now getting into the latter part of the evening when you've spent all day on the phone, talking to other people in our position. But we really appreciate you taking the time to spend time with us, man, and talk about your music and just talk about fun things.
Did you
absolutely? Thanks so much. And have me on again. I'd love to be on.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Shoot, let me know.
Angel, do we have one more there, bud?
Yeah. Did you ever know Tommy Bolin from CO City, Iowa?
Sioux City?
Oh.
No.
I always get it.
Oh.
What part of Jersey were you born?
Where was I born?
Yeah.
Oh, Somerville.
Yeah.
Somerville. So about a half hour from Perth Amboy.
Yeah, it's not that far.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, we appreciate your extra time because I know we said 40 minutes, but we got to an hour.
Absolutely, man, for sure. And Larry, just so you know, the biggest thing that's always super important to Angel and I, and we like to end a lot of our episodes, if not all of our episodes this way, is that the biggest thing is that you had a good time. You felt respected. You felt that this was worth it for you, and that you enjoyed the questions that you were asked.
Oh, God, yeah, it was great, man. I can't thank you enough. It was awesome.
Awesome, man. Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much, Larry Pascale, for spending your evening with us. We look forward to it. Best of luck on the hard copy release of the album and its continued success digitally for sure. Metal Summoners, Larry Pascale fans, thank you guys all so much for rocking out with us this evening. Make sure you're checking him out on everything. LarryPascalemusic.com is the big one, as well as all of his socials. You can find Angel at AngelAlamo78 on Instagram, as well as on Facebook. You can find me at Just a R&R Junkie on Instagram and Facebook as well. We also want to give a shout out to Strung Guitar String Jewelry at getstrung.com. And we also want to give a shout out to Teresa Lynn, who a lot of you saw tuned in tonight, for her invitation to me and Angel to be a part of her event on December 30th for Illusions of Grandeur and Silver Tongue, both of whom are alumni of our show. So we really appreciate Teresa reaching out to us. So make sure that you're following her on everything that she's doing. But again, on behalf of the Metal Summit, on behalf of Larry Pascale, thank you guys, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Have yourselves an absolutely fantastic weekend. Guest announcement will come out over the weekend for next week's episode. It's a TMS alumni returning, so we look forward to having them back. It's going to be a lot of fun. Keep your eyes peeled on all of our socials for that announcement. You guys all take care. Larry, have a great rest of your evening, man, and we appreciate you. Let us know if there's anything that you need from us. And you just take care, my friend. Thank you so much, Metal Summoners. Have a great weekend. Look out for each other. We'll see you guys in a week. As always, you've been watching.